Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's Q&A. I'm sitting here trying to figure all this technology out. Okay, here we go. We're good. Hi, Triva. How are you? Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's Q&A. I guess I should mute that. Anyway, this is just our my monthly casual talk with you guys. So many of you send me questions throughout the month, and this is my opportunity to be able to answer some of those. Anyway, it's just a casual hour. If you have any questions, by all means, let me know. I do have some that you all have written, and I'll start with those until we get some more people joining the chat room. Just saying hi to Triva. Excuse me. Anyway, so well, I hope everybody is having a good evening or a good night or good day, whatever, wherever you are. Welcome to, again, let me welcome you to the monthly Q&A here on my YouTube channel. I just want to let everybody know that I am thinking about moving this over to my Facebook profile. Not tonight, but for next month. So if you are not a regular on my YouTube, on my Facebook, you can find me at Just Bernard. Just look up Just Bernard, you can find that. So why don't I start with some of these questions that I've received throughout the month. By the way, I know that last month, we didn't get to do this last month. For those of you that are regular to this monthly Q&A, I did have to have a little bit of surgery. I'm fine, everything's fine, but I did have to take a month off from doing that. So I'm really happy to be back here doing this with you again. I love talking to everybody here on YouTube. Let's start. This is a very, a very good question somebody asked me. Somebody asked, you say we're not our story or history, etc., then what are we? So I think that deserves a little bit of background. I always talk about, you'll hear me say this quite a bit, we are not our story. Whatever story it is that we have created in our minds about us, whether, your life experiences, where you came from, the crises you've gone through, the growths, the diplomas that you have, all of that, it becomes a story. And I don't know if you notice this, but I'm sure you will after I mention it, that we begin to tell ourselves a story. So when people say, well, tell me a little bit about yourself, we have this almost like a rehearsed story in our mind. So this question is asking me, if we're not our story, our history, then what are we? And what I say to that is that we are consciousness. We are awareness. We must be objective in the way that we perceive our story. Is our story, I was born and raised here, this is what I do for a living, this is how much money I make, or is our story our experience, our consciousness, our awareness? And as we're moving into this greater awareness, this greater awakening consciousness, hopefully, as we say, moving into the ascension, an ascending consciousness, that we have the ability to objectively look at our past experiences as just that. They are past experiences. So then what are we? We are whatever it is we are at that moment. Right now, I'm staring at a camera, reading these questions on a big screen. This is what I am right now. In 1 hour, I'm going to be something different. Our moods change throughout the day. Our story changes throughout the day, and the reason why I say we are not our story is we must allow flexibility for new experiences to come in, for new awareness to become a part of who we are as an individual. And as our story changes, we have to allow that change to come in. Unfortunately, when we do get stuck in that story, we begin reliving that story. How many times can you say that you've had a bad experience with an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend, and you're looking for that, like, oh, it's going to happen again, or you had a bad experience at the mall, or you had a bad experiences with a co-worker. You begin to look for that again, and you're not giving the opportunity for your story to change. So I always say, we are not our story. We are expanding consciousness. Don't identify with your story as much as you identify with this very moment, and allowing the new moments to come into your awareness and help create a new story, I believe. Anyway, so that's how we get started. Hi, everybody. Oh, wow. I just clicked on the chat and I'm seeing, like, I don't know, 10 more people here. Hi. Well, I'm very glad to see everybody here. We do have, someone has posted a question here, and you are the first question on the chat, so I am going to answer this. Danny Cruzita, how do you know when it's your intuition or an illusion, as in an ego-based projection? That's a very, very good question, and one that we get a lot, that I get quite a bit. As a matter of fact, I work with people through my spiritual mentoring and coaching sessions on this, because that is such, let's just say that many people don't trust their intuition enough. And for me, that's the problem. I don't think the ego is as much as a problem as people give it credit for. And I feel that's where we need to start in answering this particular question, is that a lot of times you don't give your intuition enough credit. And the way that we do that is we begin to trust the intuition. We begin to trust what our gut is telling us. Start off small if you need to. As you begin to develop a relationship with your intuition, as you begin to develop what I like to call a discussion with your higher self, you will begin to trust it more. The only reason why someone cannot tell the difference, or that we allow the ego to trick us or distract us, is because we haven't learned to have that loving, trusting relationship with our higher self or our intuition. To answer the question, how do I know when it's my intuition or is it my ego or an illusion? I always say, listen to your body. Your body is amazing. Your body is an antenna. It radiates electricity. It has spirit and chi and energy all moving through it. Your body talks to you constantly. So if it is your ego, you're going to feel a sense of, for me, I feel a sense of constriction. My body begins to tighten up. My chest kind of closes, even if it's a good thing. I've learned to develop a way to listen to my body. Is my body expanding or is my body constricting? I feel that the answer is you need to learn how to develop a communication with your body. How does your body react to ego? How does your body react to intuition? And as you begin to see this, and I know it's not a simple answer, I'm sorry, as you see it, you will be able to develop that system. We all have a personal system. You'll be able to develop that system of communication with your body, which in turn will help you to develop a communication with your higher self and your intuition. So listen to your body. Start there. It might be something else for you, but start there and look at the subtleties. It's all about subtleties, and I can go into a whole nother rant about subtle energy fluctuations and learning how to read them, but some other time. I hope that answers a little bit, or at least points you in the right direction. So I hope everybody's having a good night. It is, as you can see, I don't know, oh, I'm blocking my Christmas tree. Can you see my Christmas tree? Happy holidays to everybody who's celebrating. I'm going to be doing a special broadcast next Tuesday on Revolution Radio about Yule. If you are one to celebrate the solstice, please listen and check it out. I'll actually probably post it here on YouTube as well. That's a great question. Florida State Seminole. Oh, hey, Florida. My home area. Seminole, that's Central Florida? Do I think the age of Pisces is finally over? Yes, I do. I felt a shift, as I'm sure many of us have, that, well, for people that don't understand what ages are, let me just do it ever so quickly. When we hear about the age of Aquarius, when we hear about the age of Pisces, the age of Leo, whatever it may be, it represents where the planet Earth is moving in the circle of constellations. Like, kind of look up, picture a big circle, and all the constellations are there like a clock. And I forget what the perspective is, but anyway, it's the planet Earth is moving through a particular constellation, and with that comes particular frequencies, energies, and whatnot. Over the last 2,000 years, we've been moving through the age of Pisces. You can see a symbol of this in the idea, well, Christianity is the symbol of the age of Pisces. You always see the fish, you know, with Jesus and whatnot. A lot of references to fish in the Bible. Anyway, so we are coming out of that age. Now, the thing is as we move out of an age, it is never instant. We don't instantly move out of the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. We don't automatically get the benefits or the non-benefits, for that matter, when it comes to particular ages and frequencies. But that's a long answer. I just wanted to explain what the ages are. But yeah, I do believe the age of Pisces is over, definitely. I'm seeing you guys are posting questions on the chat, and thank you. I am going to get to them, I promise. But I do have questions that other people have sent in before today's broadcast that they may be watching, and I want to make sure that I respect their efforts in reaching me. So let me share this one. This is very, very interesting, and really it grabbed my attention when they sent it. What is the basic attitude? Wait, what basic attitude should be maintained? That's very interesting. First of all, when we say what basic attitude should be maintained, that kind of implies that we all have the same attitude 24/7. Life gets in the way. There are going to be ups, there are going to be downs. There's emotions to deal with. There's illness to deal with. There's, whatever it is, life happens. So maintaining a particular attitude for me is kind of disconnecting from your humanness. And I want to be very clear that when I talk about the work that we're doing in empowerment and enlightenment and ascension and the awakening, it's not to make us less human. It's to make us more human, to be more authentic. The more authentic we are, the more we peel away the layers of illusion and whatnot, the more we connect with our higher self, and the more of divine energy we begin to emulate within our daily lives. So for me, the basic attitude, if we are to say there's a basic attitude to be maintained, is one of curiosity. My attitude comes from my perception and my perspective, I guess is a better way to say it. So the attitude, if my attitude is coming from my perspective is one of curiosity. Of, oh, look what's happening now. Oh, look what I'm doing now. Look what I'm feeling now. Aha, another download, another energetic download. If we want to maintain a particular, oh God, what's the term they use? Sorry. If we want to maintain a particular attitude, I would say the attitude would be of a small child. of curiosity, being aware, acknowledging that life is happening around us, and it's not bad, it's not good. I forgot who it was that said it. I believe it was probably Joseph Campbell, one of my favorite speakers. If y'all don't know who Joseph Campbell is, please check him out. But he says, in reference to all of this, is that, we are the observer. It's to come from that place of being the observer, of observing life, of observing our thoughts that go back and forth, of observing the emotions that we're sensing, that we're feeling, not to deny them. Don't deny the thoughts, don't deny the emotions, but pull yourself out of them and look at it from an observer's point of view. When we are in the state of observer, we are in the state of higher self, of intuition, of awareness, of true awareness, being aware of the thought and not being sucked into the thought, in other words. So the attitude for me is the attitude of an observer. Do I get angry? Yes, I get angry. Do I get sad? Yes, I get sad. I am very human, and I enjoy all the things that humanity and being a human being offers me. I mean, we wouldn't incarnate into this body, into our bodies, if we did not want to have a human experience. We can't deny that. But we can have a healthy perspective as to what the human experience is offering us at any particular moment. You're going to get sad, you're going to get angry, just let it come and let it go. I hope that answers that question. Wow, look at all of you. Hi. Hi, Lilith. Hi, Soul Traveler Magazine. Cool. Hi. Hidden Nugget. Good to see you all. Thank you. I'm glad to see everybody here. That's a great question, Hidden Nugget. How do we filter New Age crap from actual spiritualism? A lot of replaying, just like in religion. You're absolutely right. Got a little bit of a dry mouth, excuse me. How do we filter? Well, for me, this is only my experience, and I can only share my experience. For me, it's twofold. The first fold is the linear logical way. And the linear logical way is that if the information is coming from a source that is motivated by profit, and there is a lot of profit. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with making a living. I charge $70 an hour if you want my one-on-one attention. That's how I pay my bills. There's nothing wrong with making a living. But if it is obviously a blatant, profitable venture, blatant, I mean like charging you $3,000 for a one-day seminar or something like that, right there, my warning goes up, my red light goes on. Is it overtly profitable? Is it overtly motivated from making profit, or is it motivated by truth? Now, don't get me wrong. If someone is renting a hall or something like that, and it's going to cost them $5,000 to teach that seminar, they got to recoup the money somehow. So we got to kind of like look at it and balance out, what's their costs and whatnot. Are they being motivated by profit? That's my linear logical. My second one of how to filter New Age crap from actual spiritualism is my intuition and trusting my intuition. And what I mean by that is, if something doesn't resonate with me, first of all, yes, you want it to resonate with you. Most teachings that you're going to apply to your life, you want them to resonate with you. But it's pretty simple. If it's divisive, if it motivates you into separateness, if it motivates you to dislike or dishonor yourself or other people, that's crap. There's a lot of New Age stuff out there that tries to make you sound better than the sheeple. And I was one of those people 10 years ago. I'm guilty. But that was coming from a place of fear, and that's the key. Is it motivating unity? Is it motivating unity consciousness? Or is it creating fear? Is it coming from fear? Is it divisive? Does it make you hate another race, another gender, another religion, whatever it might be? Because true spiritual teaching is about unity. True spiritual teaching is about acceptance. True spiritual teaching is about allowing yourself to bring out your authenticity and to help you find your authentic self. If New Age BS is not helping you to find your authentic self, if it is pointing fingers outward and not having you point fingers inward, that to me is how I filter it. Is it unity or is it divisive? Is it profitable in a reasonable stance, or is it just overtly capitalistic, for lack of a better term? At least that's the way I see it. So I hope that helps. And I guess I'm just going to keep going back and forth with the pre-sent questions, because I do want to get to some of these. I love this. And actually, I'm going to share this one. Why are we here in the first place? That's a big question, and I don't know if I can give that question the honor it deserves. Why are we here in the first place? Well, you know what? For me, and everything that I share with you is because I've experienced it. I didn't read it in a book. I always like to say what I've experienced and what I feel and what I'm thinking, and if it works for you, that's great. If not, we can move on. Why are we here? I kind of mentioned it a little bit just a moment ago. I believe that we are here to experience life. If you are someone who comes from the mindset of multiple lives, reincarnation, everything is an experience, fate versus destiny, and whatnot, you would understand when I say that I wanted to be here. And not only did I want to be here to experience life, not only did I want to be here to feel happiness and sadness and experience the human condition, I wanted to be here now. And I think that's a part a lot of people leave out. I wanted to be here now at this time in human history. I wanted to have a front seat for the awakening process that is happening around the planet. And that includes presidential elections and wars and all the ugliness that this world has to offer, unfortunately. It does include all of that, but there's a reason why we're here. We wanted to be here. We are, and I don't want to say we're meant to learn a particular lesson. I'm not saying we're meant to experience particular experiences. I believe there's a lot of quote-unquote chaos theory in all of this, but we chose to be here at this time. We chose to have the opportunity to maybe experience Donald Trump as president, maybe experience solar energy, maybe experience the end of GMOs, whatever it might be. Maybe. Again, chaos. So we never know. But why are we here? We're here because we want to be here. We want to be here at this time. And we are here to experience love and everything that comes with it. Friendship love, romantic love, family love, love of our planet, and just the energy of love. And I can go into a whole spiel about love and fear, and love is chi and whatnot. And actually, I'll just break it down like that. To experience love, chi, a universal life energy, that is love. God is love. God is love. We were here so we can be in a vessel that can experience that particular energy. I'm noticing my camera is cutting off the top of my head, so forgive me while I do this. Let's see how we're doing now. Okay, that's a little bit better. Anyway, okay. I'm reading some more of your questions. I see a question here from Soul Traveler Magazine, so let me see. For the first time, I smelt cigarette smoke in my dream. Never had a sense of smell in a dream before. Can we smell in our dreams, or is it to do with my awakening? You know, that's a multi-layered question, and what I mean by that is that there could be multiple answers to that. I've only experienced cigar smoke in a dream, and it was shortly after my father passed away, who was a cigar smoker, so I took it as a visit from him. Uh, I don't think there's one answer fits all on this one. I will say that if anything, I would play on that. This might give you an opportunity to really embrace the concept of lucid dreaming. And if you're smelling in your dream, and you're tasting in your dream, and you're feeling and touching in your dream, I would play on the senses. It's one aspect of your senses that I really haven't even thought about in lucid dreaming. Maybe play on that. Maybe use that as a motivator. Maybe that's what the message is. You're becoming better at lucid dreaming. But to answer it, can we smell in our dreams, or is it to do with my awakening? I would say it has to do with your awakening. Most certainly. Most certainly. We're at the halfway point, guys. So if you could please just give me 90 seconds. I want to take a short break. My radiator is way too hot. I need to dab my brow. But I'll be right back in about 1 minute, okay? So just stick around. I've got a lot more questions to answer. And if you have any questions you'd like me to answer, by all means, please post them right here in the chat, and I'll be happy to get to them. I'll be right back. And we're back. Alrighty, thank you. Alrighty. So welcome back, everybody. This is, I guess, part 2 of my Q&A session with you here tonight. One of my favorites, and I really love doing this, by the way, so thank you for being here and spending this time with me. I have a multiple question. Question would not fit in one shot. Jim, hi, Jim. I thank you for that question. That's a really good question, and actually we kind of talked about this a little while ago, and it's a very good point. If our higher self is already one with Source, why are we struggling for perfection and higher vibration instead of just enjoying the ride? Could it be the ascension is just a moot point conspired to keep people in line, as with organized religion? Actually, this plays on the BS New Age spirituality that was just mentioned from Hidden Nugget. To make people feel that if they do not live up to the law of one, they will not ascend. That's a big one. Okay, so basically to synopsize the question is there really an ascension going on? Do we really need to ascend, or is this, we're already one, so are we just being played by the whole New Age metaphysical hoopla? That's part of it. I think the best thing that I can say is that the ascension process is an ascension back to our higher self. Okay, so if our higher self, our intuition, our soul, whatever we want to call it, is a piece of God, Goddess, Source, etc., it is perfect already, it doesn't need to ascend. It is the divine, infinite part of us that is incarnated with us in this physical body. Okay? So we have this divine spark within us, but yet we don't have the ability to communicate with it. We are living in ego. We are stuck in our story. We are stuck in dogma. We are stuck in politics. We are stuck in drama. We are not having that conversation with our higher self, our holy guardian angel, our source. We're not coming from that objective point that I was talking about earlier. So is the ascension process real? Yes, it's real. It's real from the aspect that our ascension is about ascending to be able to have dialogue with our higher self, to be able to live from that source perspective, to be able, we talk about 5D. Well, that's such a vague thing, and I talk about it a lot, but for me, it hasn't really been solidified, and we don't necessarily want it to solidify. What is the definition of 5D? For me, it's being able to look beyond time and space. It's to be able to understand our identity beyond time and space, to understand our infinite potential, our infinite possibility, our infinite being, that we don't end. We are everlasting. We are all everlasting. And to come from that place, to move into that perspective, for me, is a part of that ascension process that we talk about. We must be very, very careful, because we hear lots of things of, oh, if you smoke, you'll never ascend. If you have sex, you'll never ascend. If you're gay, you won't ascend. If you're this, you won't ascend, you won't ascend. And again, we're getting into that BS New Age dogma stuff. Whereas I know from my experience that the more authentic that I become, the more clearer, the more layers of the illusion that I peel away, whatever that illusion is. And for me, the illusion usually has to do with what society tells me, what the media tells me, what people want me to be versus who I truly am. The more we peel that away, the easier that communication with the higher self becomes. So there is courage is needed, strength is needed, having the guts. I was going to say something else, but you know what I mean. If you have the chutzpah to be who you truly are, that also includes being a vessel to allow what we call that universal love frequency, that higher self frequency, that chi. Chi is basically universal energy. if we can create the scenario within our bodies to allow this energy to flow through us more clearly, then we are one step closer to that quote-unquote communication with our higher self, living from that stand of the higher self and ascending. So be aware of the dogma. Be aware of the dogma. What works for somebody may not work for you. I choose, I say that, I take that back. I choose not to be a vegan right now. But does that mean I don't have the opportunity to ascend? I use frequency. I work with sound. I work with energy. That is my tool that I use to bring me to that higher state of consciousness. Some people can't work with frequency. Some people can't make their third eye vibrate and their pineal gland, open up. So they use other, methods. So whatever works for you is what matters. And to get to that place of ascension is something that you will learn to figure out by trying, seeing what doesn't work, and seeing what does work. But so, yes, we are all connected. We are all already evolved and one and whole and whatnot. And ascension is the path to living from that place, living in the space, living in the perspective of the higher self. I know that was a little long and convoluted. I hope I didn't lose you. Thank you, shocking surprise. It's my last good trait, my hair. Thank you. As I get older, hopefully this will last with me and stay with me into my hundreds. I'm reading some of your questions, so forgive the silent pauses. I'm trying to get you all in order here. So I see one from Janet. Oh, wait, no, sorry, there was one right before that. D. Simpkins, hello, Bernard. I am working on getting back into my practice after some pretty stressful months. I feel like I'm just existing and not living. I'm sorry you're going through that. That's a great question. I received another question like that recently, and I was going to talk about that tonight, and I'll answer that right now. So basically, we all have moments in our life where we have gone through episodes of stress, of bad health, of divorces, breakups, losing your job, or just falling into a funk and being in depression. And perhaps the old practices that you were using may not be working anymore. Perhaps you're losing faith. As someone who has gone through this very same thing, I remember losing my faith. And by the way, when I say losing my faith, I mean my practices weren't working and the beliefs I had weren't working and whatnot. And I just felt very disconnected. And what's very interesting is this was in 2004, 2005. Within a year, I had had the second wave of my spiritual awakening. At that time, it was 2005, 2006 is when I started my YouTube channel, and basically my whole new life took form. And I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen, and I think it's very individual for everybody, but I will say that perhaps that sense of not feeling connected, that sense of being in a funk is a part of the process to shake off the things that weren't working, to perhaps start searching for something that does. I know that for me, and I'm sure it's true for many of you watching, that those hard times, that pain, that feeling of being disconnected is usually very motivating to start going to a meditation class, start going to a spiritual coach, start, trying a new diet, trying, I don't know, the Unitarian Church, whatever it might be. That's all it was for me. But I feel that that would be the answer. As I'm looking at the question, that would be the answer. This is an opportunity to try out different things. My answer to you, D. Simpkins, is to put yourself out there. Start trying different experiences. Let go of the old beliefs that aren't working anymore. Find your groove again, but give yourself the opportunity. Give yourself permission, and that's another thing. When we talk about getting stuck in our story, we have to give ourselves permission to create a new story. So give yourself permission to try something new. Give yourself permission to go to that weird chanting group that you never thought you'd hang out with, or try that, hot rock massage you never thought you would do, whatever it is. And I'm just, coming up with strange ideas because that's how I am. But give yourself permission to try something new that works for you. Remember the story of, well, I'm not going to go into a whole mythology thing, but let's just say that a lot of times we have to go through the underworld to come out into the light. That is a part of the process. If we are looking at the shamanic vision quest, for my vision quest, I had to die within my vision quest in order to come into the light. I had to see my ego die. I had to peel away the layers of false muscle and whatever it is. And it wasn't until that I surrendered and said, that's it, I give up. Just kill me, I'm dead, I'm dead. I thought I was dying. And the moment I said, oh my God, I'm just going to die, was when I saw the light, was when my guides came to me. And I'm not going to say, this is the same thing. I'm just talking about the pattern of going through darkness to get to light, the pattern of allowing the old self to die, to move into what is new and what is waiting for you. But I will say, try different things. This is not the end. It's only a phase. It's only a chapter. And every chapter does end. And you will be surprised at how much more aware you're going to be when you find this new practice. So please don't give up. Janet says, I feel as if there's another light being inside of me. How do I bring it out? Okay, another light being, like you have two light beings in you or one. I'm going to look at it from the perspective that you have a light being within you and you want to bring it out. My immediate, I just got a red flag. So I'm going to answer what my guides would say, and I never do this on these live broadcasts. You need to find out what that light being is. There must be a way for you to be able to communicate with it before you bring it out. Perhaps pendulum work, perhaps a channeler, someone who can become a medium for you to contact it. If it's a separate light being, separate from you, you need to know what it is. We don't want to go willy-nilly allowing beings to come into us and take over our lives. I've made that mistake in my 20s. You don't want to do that. If there's another light being moving through you that is separate than your original light being, you need to make sure to communicate with it. If it is just your other self, that's a whole different thing. It could be your higher self that you're just starting to acknowledge. And if that's the case, I would suggest doing everything that we just talked about, learning how to communicate with it, being able to tell how it's trying to speak through you. Maybe even allow your ego to quote unquote channel your higher self and let it out and let it speak freely, which is what I used to do. If you look back here on my YouTube channel, I allowed my light being to speak through me on several of my YouTube videos. One, which is how I wrote my book, quite honestly. But make sure it's a good thing. Some people like walk-ins. Some people enjoy the idea of having a walk-in come over and take over their life. I knew someone who used to allow walk-ins from the future, which I found very interesting. He would have beings from the future move into his life, and they would take over his body for 3 or 4 months at a time, and he would do great work and started all these great projects and helped, thousands of people. But I kind of believe that we already have that within us. And I believe that we must be responsible for our actions, and to turn our power over to a light being or a god or a goddess, or just giving up your responsibility is not the way to go. And that's just my experience and my feeling on this, um, on that particular topic. But yeah, find out what it is before you want to bring it out. And I hope that answers that question. Annie says, I feel like something or a being is trying to communicate with me, but I'm scared to let all this stuff come through. I think I need to try channeling. Do you have any advice on channeling? Uh, I just answered some of that. Uh, if there is something trying to communicate with you, one of the methods that I used to use that I felt were fairly safe. Now, of course, when we're testing the waters and something, please make sure you do. And I know this sounds willy-nilly and whatever, everybody, cliche. Create sacred space. I was a trained ceremonial magician, so I will create a sacred circle. It doesn't matter what belief you have, you can create sacred space. Create sacred space, fill it with light, and perhaps start off like a pendulum. I know everyone's like, oh, the Ouija board is evil or whatnot. If you're in a safe space, if you are sure that nothing negative can come through, allow it to speak to you before you. And I'm guessing you're talking about letting it speak through you. I'm guessing, yeah, channeling would be allowing it to speak through you. I would find a different form of communication before allowing it to take over your body. Um, I used to channel one quite a bit, and I didn't like it. I did it for about a year or two, and I just didn't like the feeling of something taking over my body. And it's different for everybody. I have nothing against channeling. Don't get me wrong. I channeled my book. I have nothing against channeling. I just, for me as a human being, I didn't like that feeling of having no control for, an hour or whatever it was. Even though I did create sacred space. But see if you can find out another method that they can communicate through you. If you do want to channel, and actually I can take this to a whole another level as we're talking about this particular thing, is if we're going to channel, I would suggest channeling your higher self first. Allow your higher self to take root in your body before you start allowing other things to come through you. When we are channeling the higher self, and this goes for any type of channeling, it really is about frequency. And I know this is cliche, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's about frequency and tuning the dials just to be able to pick up that particular frequency. You'd be surprised how much your higher self can offer you. If you want to channel your higher self, take a deep breath, close your eyes, relax, sense that sense of being that part of you that's connected to Source, that's connected with the All, that's connected to the universe. You can call it universe. You can say you're channeling universe. But you want to connect to frequency and literally distract the ego. If there's any way you know how to distract the ego, allow the messages to come clear. Put on a tape recorder, a little voice recorder on your cell phone, and just say it without thinking about it. Just say it, say it, say it. If you're going to channel another entity, I would highly recommend creating another form of communication before you allow that entity to move through you. Again, I don't have a problem with channeling. I just want to know what I am channeling, what's coming through. Is it going to stay longer than I wanted it to? And that has happened to me in the past, so I can relate to that. All right, I've got quite a few more questions here, and I'm sorry if I don't get to all of them tonight. If you did send them in, I'm making reference to the ones that people have been emailing me over the last month. I'm going to try to get to at least one or two more. We got about 10 minutes left. Ah, that's a good one. No, I'm not taking them in order. I'm sorry. I wonder what your views are on the moments of difficult pain. I handle them by knowing they are real moments of pain. What about you? Well, that's a life skill, and I think that's very important for us to be able to handle as we move into our, our ascension, for lack of a better term. Pain is real. Pain is real. A real fact, I should say, because pain is really not real. What is pain? And I'm not talking about physical pain. I'm talking about emotional pain. These moments of trauma, of crisis. What are they? They are how our mind and our body respond to things that we've perceived. And that's not discounting the fact that we do go through emotional pain. We all go through crisis. It's part of being human. In the past, I identified myself as someone who went through pain. I used to call myself the tortured artist. It was like, I have tortured artist syndrome. And in order for me to, to present myself, that was me. I was always in pain. There was some kind of crisis, whatnot. I learned that doesn't need to be true. And if you want to look at it from a metaphysical point, we want to look at it metaphysically when we go through, again, difficult things, crisis, breakups, death of loved ones, whatever it may be, abuse. How do I deal with it? I deal with it by acknowledging. I deal with it by acknowledging that I'm a human being. I deal with it by acknowledging that I went through something very painful. I don't try to deny it. I allow myself to move through the feelings. As a matter of fact, while I'm not one on mainstream psychology or whatnot, I like that whole thing about 7 stages of grief? Denial, anger, depression, healing, blah, blah, blah. I don't even know what they are, and I'm just paraphrasing here, but there is a whole quote-unquote psychological system they talk about of how our brain heals, and I can align with that. I can relate to that. And that's how I relate with pain. I allow myself to feel it, but I also don't identify with it. It's not me. You haven't ended me. I haven't ended because of a car accident. Well, I have a very recent example I can give you. Last year, as many of you know, my appendix burst. I almost died several times. My appendix burst. I ended up with gangrene and peritonitis in my abdomen. They couldn't stop it. Nothing was working. Antibiotics weren't working. They ended up sticking a tube in my arm and into my heart and putting all these antibiotics directly into my heart, and that did help. Unfortunately, I ended up with another infection that almost killed me. That's all I did. I had to laugh. As I'm going through all these procedures, and I don't know if you all know this. I know my Facebook fans know this. I don't know about here on YouTube, but I had 5 surgeries in the last year, and I just had to laugh. It was like going through the motions. And I don't want to say I was disconnected from it, but I felt it. I allowed myself to go through it. Was I afraid I was going to die? No. I wasn't afraid. Did I prepare to die? Yes. You can ask Treva. I was like, all right, Treva, if anything happens, this is what you need to do. I had pulled in collective evolution and Mira Delicata, and you guys are taking over if I move on to the next realm. But that's the whole thing. And I think that is what the key is knowing no matter what happens to you, no matter if you move into the next realm, you're just transitioning. And all of these painful episodes, all of these emotional upheavals that you might be going through are a part of your transition. They are never the end. They're never the end. You're not the end. This body isn't the end. Your death is not the end. And if that's true, then your divorce, your breakup, the loss of your job, the losing of your home, the broken arm, the surgery, whatever it might be, it's not the end. It's a transition. And that's what I've learned. I learned that in order for me to deal with crisis, in order for me to deal with health issues, in order for me to deal with sadness, true sadness, was to be able to say, and this is very cliche, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. It's not the end. It's never the end. Even if you commit suicide, it's not the end. You're going to evolve. You're going to grow. You're an infinite being. Your energy is eternal. So how do I deal with sadness? Look at it like a transition. Don't be angry at it. Let it happen. Be a part of it. Engage. Don't deny. It's a part of your experience. Now, let me add that some people, and many of us, quite honestly, we end up with post-traumatic stress, for lack of a better term, but the reality of it is, sometimes we lose a piece of ourselves. Sometimes we lose a piece of our soul. If you know anything about shamanism, we talk about soul retrieval. And sometimes when we go through crisis, we need to pull back that piece of us that we lost. If you are going through crisis and you've gone through crisis and you finally saw this was only a transition, this is only a piece of the story, I am going to keep going on, but you still don't feel complete, maybe something like soul retrieval might be in your best interest to make yourself feel whole again. But I will say this. Ever since I had my spiritual awakening, when I wrote my book, if you read my book, I talk about it in detail, the Book of One, that shamanic vision quest made me whole again. And I've never had to deal with that again. But I will say this, prior to that, and I think many of you will understand this, prior to my shamanic vision quest, and I'm running late, I don't care, I'm going to go on for about another 10 minutes, there was that emptiness. I don't know if you all feel that ever, like there's something empty inside of you. And I was depressed, and again, I was angry and whatnot. And there was just this feeling of emptiness. And yeah, I used drugs and sex and everything I can to try to fill that void, the void. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for, void. That void in my gut. And it was so prominent. It was so prominent. And it wasn't until I had my vision quest and began this process that, here I am literally almost 20 years later, that I got rid of that feeling. It was gone. It was completely gone. And I'm not recommending everybody go out and do a shamanic vision quest, even though I don't think it'll hurt. But the answer I got, and this is the point I want to try to make, is the answer I got, the way I got rid of that void, was to know that I was not separate from God, Source, Goddess, Universe, whatever ego name you need to call it. I wasn't separate. It was that separation that made me feel lost. It was that separation that made me feel that void. And I'm not preaching here. Maybe I am. I don't know. I'm not preaching here to go join a religion or anything. By all means, don't. If you haven't already, don't. I believe in personal spirituality. I believe that my relationship with Source, God, Goddess, is my own. But it wasn't until I allowed that disconnect to become real, that I acknowledged that disconnect was real and that I could change it. And by connecting to my higher self, by connecting to Source, I feel complete again. That void is gone. So anything that's missing in your life, look within. If there's a void, if there's anger, whatever it might be, we can heal. We can heal. The moment we get the clarity to get rid of the divisiveness, to get rid of the divide between you and your higher self, between you and God, Goddess, Source, Universe. There is no disconnect. There is no disconnect between me and you. I'm grateful the internet is here to make it easier so we can connect, but there's no disconnect. We're connected. I feel you. I feel your love. I love you. There's no disconnect. There is no separation. The separation is the illusion. That's the illusion. We must get rid of the illusion of separateness. And the moment you do that, you're going to feel whole again. Well, I guess we are out of time, and I thank you all. As usual, I had a great time. Thank you so much for being here. Just so I can tell you for the future, I normally do these Q&As on the first week of the month. Next month, it'll be January 3rd. I don't know if I want to do it that close to New Year, so I probably will do the second week again. So look for me on January 10th. As well, I might be moving these to Facebook, so if you have not found me yet on my Facebook fan page, please do. I like the I like the software better for some reason. We'll see though, but I will be posting. Anyway, I want to thank you all for being here. If, by all means, I don't want to market myself here, but if you need to, you want to talk to me, you can. You can book an appointment with me on BernardAlvarez.com under bookings. As well, always check out the Just Bernard Show every Tuesday live on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. And today, we did something really cool. We simulcasted the radio show on my Facebook profile, which was really, really cool. And I want to thank Triva, by the way, for what you did. That was awesome. Anyway, it's been great, and it's so nice connecting with you. And I just want you all to have a really happy holiday. Enjoy yourself. Remember, unless it's love, let me be very clear here. Unless you're feeling love and unless you're feeling happy, everything else is an illusion. It is an illusion. That sadness we create, that anger we create. We can't blame other people for our sadness or our anger. We are meant here to be loving, giving, beautiful beings, and that's what you are. So remember that during the holidays. Don't let your family piss you off. Have a good time, and I wish you all very well, and I'll see you after the new year. Of course, I'll be posting videos for the rest of the month, but this will be our last live broadcast this year, and I love you. Happy New Year and happy holidays.